Hi there, welcome back to this channel. If you are new to the channel, do want to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, I welcome you to this family. I welcome you back to the family, and if you are new here, do want to subscribe, please. Click on the bell, the red button below this screen, and do cost you anything. Is that okay? All right. Today we're going to be solving some questions on F8506 involving the number of the fecundity of fish, the number of eggs that will hatch, the number of fingerlings that will be produced at the end of the day, and all of that. So stick with me till the end because we'll be solving 3 questions, and I'll solve some of them and I'll snap them and put them on here. So, but just stick with me because you see there's an idea. You see this place I circled in this question is one of the most controversial part, and that is where people don't really seem to understand as to how it is so. So let's go to the first one. It says, as a fishery consultant, you have to supply 500,000 fingerlings. Calculate the number of females required based on the following data. Body weight of female is 0.5 kg. Strip percentage is 10% of body weight. So it means that you are stripping 10% of the body weight of the fish. And number of eggs per kg is 0.75 kg. Now, this is where it gets controversial, as I said earlier on. Now, it is controversial because the question says number of eggs per kg. Now, if I give you number of something per something, I should give you a numerical value that will stand for a number of things, not a quantity of things. I don't know if you got that. This is standing for a quantity of things. So what that means is that if I said, give us 5 plates per person, that is the number of plates per person, that is 5 plates. So here, number of eggs per kg should represent maybe 20 eggs per kg of fish, but of course that is ridiculously low. But I'm just saying that it's supposed to be a numerical value that represents a number in terms of quantity. Call me Monsoro to pick this up. Yeah, to pick this. So the number of eggs per kg is not, this value here is quite a little absurd. Is that okay? Then we have hatching percentage to be 50% and survival rates to be 70%. Now, we're going to be starting with this. So let's understand the percentages and how they are related. So the first one says, we are going to start from here, which says that the survival rate. So the survival of what? Because we are going to fingerlings, right? So survival rate means the amount of fish that actually made it to the fingerling stage. So 70% made it to the fingerling stage. So this 500%, this 500,000 fingerlings represents 70% of a particular amount of fish that actually hatched. All right, so let's go over that. But let me use this analogy first. So if I said in a class, 25 of them are boys. 25 of them, 25 boys, 25 boys, yes. And these 25 boys represent only 70% of them. How many students are in class? It says 25 boys, and these 25 boys represent only 70% of them. So what that means is that, I hope you understand what I said. As in 70% of the class are boys. And that 70% represent 25. So how many of them are in class generally? So it means that the remaining 30% are girls, isn't it? Now, but here, what you want to do is this, that 70% of a particular amount of persons gave us 25. So what is that particular amount? Is that okay? I'm going to solve it in 2 ways. Because the reason is because those 2 ways are going to help us to understand this. All right, so we have 70x is equal to 2500, isn't it? When you multiply. So x is equal to what? 2500 over what? 70. And then you solve. Is that okay? Now, because I don't have a calculator here, that's why I've already solved the questions and snapped them here so that I can just go quickly. Is that okay? But now, make sure, because it's going to be premiering live, I want you to type any question you have. I'm going to be live with you as you watch this video. I'm going to be live with you. So type any question in the comment section, that any portion you don't understand, I am going to answer you immediately. Is that okay? Or I'm also going to drop my WhatsApp number here. So at the time you are watching this video, you can actually reach me on here on WhatsApp, and reach me as quickly as possible, because you cannot reach me tomorrow. Amen. I won't answer. I mean, the pressure will be higher tomorrow. But there should be no pressure. Our God is going to help us in the exam. All right. So my point is, just reach me as quickly as possible. Maybe even on that comment section. I prefer the comment section, please, so that I can always answer your question as quickly as possible. Now, I said that this is the idea behind what we want to do there. All right. So we are solving backwards to generate the number of persons that are actually in class. Now, another thing you should see is another method you can apply to this is that if 70% represent 25 persons in class, 100% will represent how many persons in class? You see that? It's still the same idea. Then you cross multiply as you do in chemistry, and you have 70x is equal to 2,500. And then you have the same thing. You understand? So that is the idea we're going to be using here. Now look at this. It says survival rate is 70%. So 70% of what? 70% of what survived? Because that 70% that survived amounted to 500,000 fingerlings. Is that okay? So this is the amount that amounted. This is 70. This is the amount. This is 70% that survived. So this 70% amounted to 500,000 fingerlings. Okay. So of what? So what we have is the same idea. We say that, or you can say that this 70 survived, which are the 500,000. So the total amount of eggs that actually hatched is now what? So you cross multiply, and you have x to be equal to 500,000 over 70. What I did is just to cross multiply, and then you do the math, and you get there. So x should give us 714,286. 714,286. Okay, yeah, approximately 714,286. So I'm approximating my values here, but for the sake of the exam, approximate to two decimal places. I'm trying to make it as sensible as possible. Like, it doesn't make sense to say that point something eggs. You understand? So we could just say this. We are just approximating to absolute values. Is that okay? All right. So now, let's now factor in the hatching percentage. Now, the hatching percentage is 50% of the spawned eggs. So after spawning, after fertilization, the amount of eggs that actually hatched after fertilization, the amount of eggs that hatched is actually 50%. So it means that this guy is the amount of eggs that hatched. Is that okay? This amount of eggs that hatched. So this is 50% of a particular value. This guy, 714,286, is 50% of an amount of eggs. So you can just double this, just add this to itself. I mean, you get your answer. You get the amount of eggs that was spawned. The amount of eggs that were spawned, rather, were. So here 1, and you have 7, 4. Oh, it's here, sir. As 7, 1, 5, rather 5, 5, 1, 8, 2, 4, 1. All right. So this is the amount of eggs that spawned. Is that okay? That was spawned. All right. Now, how do we now calculate now, it now says the number of eggs. So we are calculating backwards. So the number of eggs per kg. So now listen to this place I said was controversial. Now, this one I said is controversial is because I said the number of eggs doesn't make sense to just give me a quantity of 0.75 kg. And in fact, the only sensible thing to say here is that 750 eggs we have 750 eggs per kg. And listen again, listen still. It doesn't still make sense to say a clarias fish that is 1 kg produced has 750 of its entire 1 kg to be 750. It means that the fish itself, the fish carbon itself actually weighs, actually weighs 250. So it doesn't still make sense. So actually, the best analogy, and listen to this. I actually asked an engineer about this. So I did not come up with this by myself alone. Is that okay? All right. So it only makes sense to say that this 750 eggs is per gram. I don't know if you got that. This 750 eggs is what? Per gram. And I mean, it makes sense because 750 eggs weighs 1 gram. That's the meaning. 750 eggs weighs 1 gram. I hope that is clear. So if 750 eggs weighs 1 gram, like that's the only way to make sense of this, not 750 eggs per kg. The only way to make sense of this is what? 750 eggs weighs 1 gram. And I promise you, if you do that in the exam, you are going to get it. I promise you. Because just make sure you are explaining explicitly. You are not bringing in, you're not just, you're not just going to calculating and you know, just spell it out. All right, so you said 750 eggs per gram of fish. Do you understand? If you write this out, I promise you, I just don't want to say what's in my mind, but I hope you will understand. Oh, thank you. I didn't use it. So, I'm still around. Maybe you help me to control this. Are you busy? Okay. So, so that's that. I said, so we have to calculate the number of eggs per grams. Now, the number of eggs per grams. So it means that this is the amount of eggs that were spawned. So this number of eggs were spawned, while this number of eggs hatched, and this number of eggs that hatched gave us a survival rate of 70%, which amounted to 500,000 fingerlings. That's what we're doing. Is that okay? So now let's see the weight of the weight of the eggs, because this is the number of eggs. So let's see their weight. Since 750 eggs is in 1 gram, so we'll say that 750 eggs is in 1 gram. So 1428572 eggs will be in how many grams? Is that okay? So by the time you cross multiply, you end up having the x to be equal to 1428572. Give me your calculator. Is it available? Don't worry. I think I will solve the J. So x will be equal to, so by the time you solve this, you're going to have 1904.76. All right. So you can approximate this to, okay, since this is weight, you can leave this as at 2 dp. And mind you, I said, even for this one that I approximated to an absolute value, make sure you approximate to 2 dps. It makes more sense. I mean, it's better. It's not like it makes more sense. All right, so this is the weight of these eggs. So this 1,400,000 actually weigh 1 kilo. So that makes sense now. As in eggs of fish. 1 million of them, and you know how tiny they can really be. So 1 million of them, 1 million or 1.5 million of them actually weigh 1 kg. So that makes sense. I mean, it makes more sense than to just say that. So let's just continue. Let's just continue. So the next thing to go and do is, since this is the amount of weight of, that is the weight of the total weight of eggs, and we said that it is 10% of the weight of the fish that will be stripped. So with 10% stripping percentage, let's look at this. So per kg of fish, if I strip 10%, it means that it is 10%. How do I put this? If the stripping percentage is 10%, it means that per kg of fish, I will have 100 grams of egg. I don't know if you got that. If in 1 kg of fish, I stripped only 10% of its weight, stripping percentage is 10% of body weight. So if the body weight of 1 kg is 1,000 grams, and I stripped 10%, it means I stripped 100 grams. Just divide 1,000, that's 1,000 grams, by 10, and that's how you will get this. Is that okay? I mean, and it's simple to say that 10% of anything is just that thing over 10. It's simple. It's just, if I say 10% of 50, just say 50 over 10, you get your answer. That is 5. Do you understand? All right. So if I say 10%, just say 10% of that 1 kg, which will be 1,000 over 10, and gives you 100 grams. So it means that 100 grams of eggs will be stripped per kg. So we'll have 100 grams of eggs in 1 kg. Therefore, and 1 kg is that amount of this thing. So we can convert it to grams, because this guy is in grams. So we can say that 100 grams of eggs is what we get to strip. 100 grams of eggs is what we get to strip from a 1,000 gram fish. So therefore, how many grams of eggs are we going to get to strip in a fish that weighs in 1904.76? So that is how many, if 100 grams is in each fish, this represents 1 fish. Is that okay? So how many grams will, be here? I think I confused this thing already. No. Let's use 1 kg because we are trying to convert to. Okay, yes. This is what I misplaced. 100 grams of eggs will be stripped off of 1 kg of fish. So in 1 kg of fish, you strip out 100 grams of eggs. So from how many kg of fish did we strip out? This number of eggs. Okay, yes. I just remember. This is the weight of eggs. I said that. Weight of eggs. So if that's the weight of eggs, and we know that 100 grams of egg can only be gotten from 1 kg of fish. So 1904.76 grams is stripped out from how many kg of fish? Do we understand that now? So how many kg of fish are we able to strip out this if in 1 kg we always strip out 100 grams? I hope that makes sense. If you don't get it, just comment in the comment section to re-explain in another way. I'm going to really do that. So we are going to cross multiply this, and we'll have 100x equals 1904.76. That becomes x equal to 19.05. Approximately 19.05 when you divide. All right, kg now, kg. And make sure to write or include your units per time. You see, as I didn't include egg here, it confused me, and it's going to confuse your marker as well. In the case where your marker actually is following along with what you're doing. Okay, so all right, that was just on the lighter mode, but I may write your units. Is that okay? So we have that as so the kg of fish. Is that okay? And we know that it says that the body weight of female. So each female, one female, is going to be equal to 0.5 kg. So how many females will be equal to 19.05 kg? I hope you followed me up to this point. All right. I'm assuming you are yes. Yeah, type yes in the comment section. Type yes in the comment section. God bless you as you do so. All right. So we have this. I'm going to cross multiply. We have x will be equal to, when we cross multiply, you have 19.05 over 0.5. And that is going to give you 38.1. So approximately 38 females are needed. And that is the answer to that question. All right. So let's solve the second question. All right. So the second question says, as a fishery consultant, you have to supply 1 million Clarias garipinus or garipinus for stocking government farm. How many eggs will you need to produce the fry, assuming the average female brooder produces 56,000 eggs per hen? So, like as a pointer to what I explained the other time, 56,000 eggs per kg. So this makes sense, unlike saying 750 eggs per kg the other time. So you see, it solidifies the information I said the other time that it has to be like maybe 750 eggs per gram. Is that okay? So that we have at least some 75,000 eggs per kg. You understand? So this makes sense to say 76,000 eggs per kg body weight. And that only 90% of eggs spawned are viable. And of these, 86% will be successfully fertilized, and out of these, 78% hatched. Okay, so the first thing we want to go is, we're going to go backwards, still the same way, but we should know that the fertilized eggs, okay, so the first thing is that we are assuming that we are stocking this government farm with fries. Is that okay? We are stocking their farm with fries. So the number of fries is going to be so it says that 78% hatched. So 78% of something hatched into 1 million fries. Is that okay? So what do? We calculate the number of eggs that hatched into 1 million fries. So those eggs are the ones that are viable. So the viable eggs are the ones that hatched into, no, the fertilized eggs. 90% of the eggs spawned are viable. And of these viable eggs, 86% will be successfully fertilized, and out of these, 78% hatched. Okay, so out of how many eggs hatched, the 78% hatched to give that that's 1 million fry. So we are going to go backwards the same way. So we are just saying that 78% of a particular amount of eggs hatched into 1 million Clarias fries. Is it? Okay. The red. Okay. So 78% of a particular amount of eggs hatched into 1 million eggs. And that 78% is actually out of the amount that was fertilized. So we are just saying that 78% of the amount that was fertilized. Is that okay? So we are checking for the number of eggs that were fertilized now. So that will become what? X will be equal to, by the time you do the maths, as what I did the other time, 78 over 100 times X is equal to 1 million. So you cross multiply, you're going to have 1 billion. No, 100 million over 78. So that will be 100, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 divided by 78. So that will give us X, which is number of fertilized eggs, will be 128,2051.282. So 0.28. So this is the amount of eggs that were, fertilized. So 78% produced 1 million out of this. So this number of eggs that were fertilized. And this number of eggs that were fertilized represents 86% of the viable ones. The viable ones are the ones that are going to survive. That's just what that means. So the viable ones are the ones that survive. So the eggs that survive. All right. So 86%. So we are saying that. So X is this. So it is 86% of a particular D, which is the number of viable eggs, the ones that can be fertilized indeed, produced 182,051.28 fertilized eggs. I hope that makes sense. That is Do you understand it? Because you're not following, it's simple. So it's 6% of a particular amount of viable eggs that are fertilizable, that can turn to fries actually, that can be fertilized. So 6% of them gave this amount of fertilized eggs. So how many are they that were viable actually, that could be fertilized? So what we'll do again is just the reverse. You do that and it becomes over 86. That'll be 1282051 times 100. Remember, because multiply. This will be multiplied by 100, right? So this guy will also multiply by 100. We have 2 8. You move the 0. So divided by 86. Or either ways, another way to go about it is just divide this guy by 100. So that becomes 0.86. So it will be all of this divided by 0.86. Is that right? Right. How about the mother? Okay. So times 100 is equal to this, then divided by 86. So that becomes 142.149.0757.305. So that's just 31 eggs. And make sure you are denoting each case. So for example, here we said X is this fertilized eggs. Is that okay? So that your marker will understand what you're doing. So you have fertilized eggs. So here you have this number of viable eggs that could be fertilized. So out of these amounts, 86% got fertilized and it produced 128 viable eggs. Do you understand? All right. 1 million, this is fertilized eggs. Is that okay? But these are viable. Do you understand now? All right. So we come to the next case that says 90% of the eggs that were spawned are viable. So these viable eggs are actually 90% of a particular M, which is the number of eggs that were actually spawned. Do you understand? So spawned M. So you see there is a technique we also use. After you've done all of this, you now use key. You now say key. Is that okay? Your key will now be X represents fertilized eggs, D represents viable eggs. Thank you. See, you're following. Viable eggs, and M represents spawned eggs. So you see, it's not hard. You can just put this key in place. All right, so that to help your marker, as I said. So 90% of M So 90% of M, so M now is the number of spawned eggs, right? So how many eggs are viable? 1490757.31 is equal to 90M over 100. Is that okay? So by the time you cross multiply again, you're going to have that M will be equal to 1490757. Now 31 by the time you multiply by 100 over 91. All right. She has scattered it. So 1 4. This guy doesn't work without saying this one. 1 4. Okay, there's no calculator on it. There's no battery on it. In it. There's no space for battery. It's not even pressing right now. 1 4. One 49 07 5731 divided by 90. It's supposed to be 90, not 91. Let me call to 1656397.01. So this is the amount of eggs that were spawned. Is that okay? That's the amount of eggs that were spawned. All right. And I think that is the answer to the question. So it means that we need, so the amount of eggs that you will need to produce this amount of fry. So you now write, you conclude by saying the amount of eggs needed to produce 1 million fry for the stocking of the government pond is 1 million, whatever you call it. So that is going to be the answer. Then you put eggs. Is that okay? That's the unit. Eggs. So like approximately this. Just stop at 9.7. All right. So because of time, we're not able to solve more than 2. Okay, no. Let me see the third one. Let me see the third one. But I'm going to be, now the thing is this. I'm going to send some questions over to you, to your group, to someone to send to your group. So you guys should attempt those questions. You can post the answers in the comment section. I want you to post the answers, not to me on WhatsApp, but to the comment section. Is that okay? I will let you know if they are correct. Sorry.